The trading deadline is tomorrow, but apparently teams ain't worried about that deadline. Ain't worried about that deadline. They are ready to go. Ret to go, as they say. The Yankees acquired Frankie Montas, and we know all about him as the Oakland A right-hander. And also Lou Trevino out of the bullpen. So here's what I'm not going to do. I am not going to run down all of the prospects that were dealt in these trades and give you statistics and all that.
Yeah.
I used to be that guy, and then I realized
what happened to that guy?
That guy learned that a lot of these prospects end up not working out, so I waste a lot of time.
No, get out of here.
True.
Wow.
True.
Wow.
True. So Montas and Trevino go to the Yankees for a number of prospects. The takeaway from this is that the Yankees are all in. I mean, they traded for Benintendi last week. They traded for the young reliever from the Cubs, Efros. Is that how you pronounce it? Mm-hmm. And then they add Montas and Trevino today. So they are all in. And people might think the Yankees are always all in. That's not the case. I mean, the Yankees have not been as aggressive as I think some of their fans, if not most of their fans, want them to be or have wanted them to be. They are going after it this time around, and they are adding the talent. Aaron Judge has been just an absolutely ridiculous animal of a hitter this year.
It's crazy.
And this is them going all in, Ram.
And I mean, you're right.
By the way,
Nick.
may I call you Ram, or is that
sure?
weird?
No,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, they're not always all in, but they're usually pretty close to all in. From the A's side of things, like, hey man, I get it. I get where they're at, and I understand like competitive windows open and close, and
Right.
And I'm not a guy who like is gonna get up in arms every time a team isn't like in the midst of competing. You know what I mean? Especially when you have the financial hurdles that an Oakland A's type of organization has to clear. But I just want to know when it is a team like I'm dealing with this right now as a lifelong Cubs fan, Nick. It's like, all right, well, we're not trying to win now. What is the timeline? Like, I just want to know what are we dealing with here? Well, how long do I have to wait before you guys are actually trying to win again? And that's what and I've only been here a month. We don't talk a ton of A's baseball, but that's what I don't really. I'm not really clear on when it comes to the A's side of this thing. Yeah. Like, okay, they're not trying to win now, but when?
There's a lot of other stuff at play, mainly the stadium talk.
Sure.
You know, that's weighing in big time. Baseball wants the stadium done. They need the deal done. It's Oakland and it's Tampa, and Manfred is trying to get these deals done wherever they're going to go. I mean, remember the Fakakta plan that they had for the Rays, where the Rays were going to play half their games in Montreal, which was just absolutely stupid. But like, what would you do in the playoffs? Play one game down in Tampa, one game in Montreal? It's just so stupid.
All this clamoring to get Montreal a baseball town again, or get them a baseball team again. Terrible baseball town. I have lots of family in Montreal. I used to go there all the time as a kid. Awful baseball town. They don't deserve to have half a season there. And I don't know why everybody is so intent on getting Montreal. We just like the logo. We just like the uniform. What is it? What? The Expos?
I will say it is a very cool logo.
Fine. Okay, but it's a terrible baseball town.
It wouldn't work, right? Could we just copy the logo and give it to like the
Rays? Just make like the Portland Expos. I don't care what. Yeah, just bring back the logo in a different city.
But is it because they were just like in a horrible, awful stadium?
I don't think so, man. I think it's Canada. It's French Canada, Chris. They don't care about baseball. They just don't. It's a very, very small number of dedicated fans.
It's Canadiens, my man.
In that city.
It's Canadiens. That's it. Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
That's what they're focused on.
They just don't care.
Another move that I wanted to bring up. Maybe I'm the only one that doesn't understand this, but Josh Hader goes to the Padres today for, again, a bunch of prospects, couple pitchers. The Brewers are in first place. Hader is like legit the best left-handed reliever in the game. He's had a couple of, stink sandwiches this year, but other than that, dude's been almost unhittable. He is electric. He is not going to be a free agent after this season. He still has more year. Yeah, he still has another year left. You're the Brewers. You're in first place. You have arguably your bullpen set up at the end of games, especially almost perfect. And now you deal him. And I know, they believe that bringing some of the guys in that they can replace some of the production. But, man, I don't think that you take for granted having two guys at the back end of your bullpen that can pitch the way that they can pitch. And now you're dealing Hader. And I thought this was very telling, Ramie. They sent out a press release. They sent out a statement today after the trade pretty much going, oh, no, we know what we're doing. We know we know what we're doing here. Do not question us. We know exactly what's happening. We believe that we have it figured out. And maybe they do, but on the surface, I don't get it.
And they did that, Nick, because as you know, I just came from Milwaukee, so a lot of Milwaukee-related content still on my Twitter timeline.
See, as soon as you leave, Hader gets traded.
There's blowback.
See what happens?
There's uproar.
Should be
over this deal. But you know what?
Let me tell you. You're gonna tell me you like it?
I won't say I like it necessarily, but throughout my time in Milwaukee, one thing I learned is David Stearns, their president of baseball operations, that guy's crazy like a fox. Like every time it looks like it's a bad move, it turns out to be the right move. And I started a slogan, which is just in Stearns we trust. And when you look at the deal, they got Taylor Rogers back in it, who's one save and a 10th of a run in ERA lower than Josh Hader. And I think he has something like 10 less strikeouts. And they got a bounty of prospects in addition to that. So I don't think Josh Hader is the bigger name, and he's been the most dominant closer in baseball for 4 years and running. But at the same time, the drop-off from him to Taylor Rogers ain't really all that much. And when you look at what else they got in that deal, as they say in that statement that they put out, they feel like they kept their competitive window open longer if those guys pan out and start coming to the major leagues and contributing here in the near future.
If they pan out, and the one warning I would also say is just because a guy is successful in one place doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be successful in another.
Sure.
I don't know how Rodgers is going to handle, a race here at the top and playing in a new city. Who knows? I think when you've got somebody like Hader and you're in first place, I'm more apt to hold on to that.
The guy is an absolute beast.
I mean, maybe like you said, Stearns ends up getting the last laugh, and I'm sure he knows more than I do. But
he usually does.
Outside looking in, I was very surprised that Hader was gone as a team that's sitting in first place right now as I speak. Another deal, Trey Mancini gets dealt to Houston. He's a great story, obviously. Came back from cancer. He's a talented addition to the Astros. The Astros are like 30 games above 500, which is just, you can't overlook that. They lost Correa, and it really didn't matter. Talented addition, and the Orioles, forever the Orioles. The poor Baltimore Orioles fans.
Weren't they in striking distance of a playoff spot?
They got hot. But I think inevitably they look at themselves and they go, yeah, but we're still the Orioles.
Wasn't this whole CBA negotiation like they're trying to incentivize teams not to tank?
I just don't see a Orioles team. I don't see an Orioles team that is led by Peter Angelos to do anything. Until he is out of the equation, that's just it's just bad. More importantly, from around here, Giants reportedly in on Soto. The Dodgers are also in on Soto. The Yankees were rumored to be in on Soto, might still be in on Soto, but it sounds less likely after the trade today that they made with the A's. All in. I mean, if you have a chance to land Soto, I think you've got to make that deal. He's a centerpiece for you for 10 to 15 years. I am concerned with how much you'd have to give up. And if you're ripping out Logan Webb and others for that deal, how much of the return is diminishing. But inevitably, this dude's 23 years old, and he's generational talent.
I can't believe he's available. Like every time we
Washington's another bad.
Every time we talk about this this Juan Soto situation, the first thought that runs through my mind is this guy's on the trade block. Like he is a generational type of hitter and talent. When you look at the scope of Major League Baseball, he's available. So yeah, if you can get your hands on this guy, you give up whatever you have to do to get a Juan Soto.
I mean, the Nats won the World Series obviously in 2019, but they've just made so many moves that have made me scratch my head in the last 8, 9, 10 years. Following them in Virginia Beach when I was working there, just so many moves. By the way, Aaron Judge hit another bomb a few moments ago. His 43rd of the season. The dude is not human. He's just not human. And finally, just a quick tangent as a Red Sox fan. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. Riddle me this. They have Xander Bogaerts. They are reportedly not going to sign Bogaerts to a long-term deal. Scott Boras, he's going to make tons of money. It doesn't look like they're going to sign Bogaerts. But they're not going to trade him. So last year of his contract.
I don't know.
If they're a 500 ball club, they're not good enough to win. They're not going to win anything this year. And instead of trading Bogaerts to get a massive haul or at least a really good haul back.
Or sign him.
They're going to hold on to him. Well, that's a different debate at a different time. Look, I love Xander, but the fact is they drafted Marcelo Meyer, and he is a top 5 prospect in baseball pretty much. You know, he's one of those truly can't miss dudes who was seen as, some people had him ranked as the top player in the draft going back. So they have him. I think they don't want to block his, he'll probably be in the big leagues in 2 years. They don't want to block him with Xander. But anyway, I mean, if you're not going to sign him, trade him. And I know people say, oh, well, if he leaves, it's like an NFL thing now. If they leave, you can get an extra draft pick. I don't care. Like, end of a first-round draft pick or whatever versus 2 or 3 or 4 top prospects you can get back for Bogaerts. I don't know what they're doing. They're selling, but they're also trading for players today. They brought in Tommy Pham, who's, I don't know if he's going to punch somebody by the end of the year. I don't even want to tell you what the other guy did that they picked up today.
Did you see
Google
this
that.
Christian Vasquez video that's making the rounds, that's going viral right now?
The Yankee one?
Well, he was traded from the Red Sox to the Astros.
Yes.
And they're playing each other, and I guess it happened during batting practice.
It did.
And so reporters got a hold of him, and he started answering questions about it, and
PR people
Red
like,
Sox PR pulled him away like
Yeah.
they were the Secret Service.
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird and very awkward little piece of video.
Yeah.
If anybody can get their hands on it.
So I don't know what they're doing. But anyway.